what's it called? This live streaming Roulette and posting us messing with the dealers and playing games is gonna be top tier content. Oops. There we go. I gotta start putting the tickers in the titles so on Twitter people can just see the tickers and it'll show up on their feeds. That's how we got a ton of viewers on X the one time. All right. Well, not the one time. We get a lot of viewers on X, but it was more than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. Ready? Mr. Producer. Ready? Doodle. I gotta get a better sound effect for that. But yeah, we're live now, Harrison. The people can see
Boom.
this. Oh! Are you fucking kidding me? Are we back for the ultimate pump bull run taking effect? All right, let's get a quick intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're back. We've been staring at the charts all weekend, watching the markets for you guys. I know you've been wondering, when's this bull run going to commence again? When are we going to go to Valhalla, retire our parents, our grandparents, our children, our children's children, our entire bloodlines, get your second and third wife? When was it going to happen? Well, looks like we're back on, Harrison. Bitcoin's pumping back above 102,000 right now. Ethereum trading back above $3,700 again. Yep, 3,700. Basically, what we had expected to happen after the new year, after people were taking their, they were doing their tax harvesting. People at the very beginning of the new year, when the calendar had turned, took their profits on positions that they were up on, so they didn't have to pay taxes until 2026 October on those gains. And of course, if you do a tax extension, right, you gotta know about those extensions. And then so we set our yearly low. Now it looks like we're ready to pump higher again in the market, which is huge. So Bitcoin's moving up, which is pulling up everything else. So yeah, looks like the gentlemen are back. Looks like things are looking good again, Harrison. What are you seeing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we should have some more viewers than normal because once we start pumping, everyone comes back.
Exactly. Now they're all excited again. Wait, the price is green? Can I buy more now? Yeah, you could, but I would have encouraged you to buy when it was red, but I understand. It takes a few lessons before they understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like I was looking at the boys club this morning and it looks like they're starting to catch up a little bit. Um, usually we'll see they lag a little bit behind. So once Ethereum starts to have its impulsive moves, it's normally 12 to 24 hours after that we start to see the boys club move as well, start to see the altcoins play the catch up. So I saw it's already starting to happen. All of them were at least a little bit green. I know Brett and Pepe were a little bit green on the day. The last time I looked, Andy and Wolf were still a little bit negative, but they were moving pretty good over the weekend.
They were.
Yeah, we got some good charts pulled together for today. So
we're going to give you some alpha, some juice, some opportunities to make some money in the long term, next 4 to 5 months. I see somebody in the comments already. Your thoughts on, and then blank ticker. It's definitely a Fugazi ticker. So that's good. That means we're growing. If we're starting to get the bots and the fake tickers in the chat, that means we're growing. We have influence. So no, we're not going to check that ticker. I've never heard of that thing. So, okay. All right, let's pop into the charts. Let's show the people what they want to see. So we had made a couple of charts over the weekend that we shared inside the Taylor's code and within our private group so that they understood where the market was moving, and we gave them some entries for their altcoins while everything was bleeding, because obviously whenever you're looking for opportunities to increase your positions, you want to make sure you're doing it at the right time so you can get the bulk of the move. You can benefit from the bulk of the move. So let me share my whole screen, do a little screen share here, advanced, boom, boom, boom. I could probably just do this. Hold on a second. Yeah, I can just do this. Okay. All right, can you see this, Harrison?
yep.
Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we had made this chart. This was earlier last week. And so I had shared this within the Taylor's code and with our private group, basically showing what the local price action on Bitcoin was doing. So bigger picture, I mean, if we want to look real quick, you guys know where we're at in the cycle. So we had this massive So this was the last bull run. We had this double top in 2021. This is the last year of the bull run for last cycle. Came into this massive bear market reaccumulation range. Boom, boom, boom. Then we started the bull run again in 2023, which was right in here. Yep. It's like right at the turn of 2023, we start this current bull run. This year, we came into a halving year. Well, 2024. So last year, we came into a halving year, which is the year after a halving year is the most bullish year for crypto. So we came into this 7-8 month long reaccumulation range, this pause for 7 to 8 months, finally broke out of it to where we're at right now. Okay, so we had this big breakout on Bitcoin. We went much higher, and we actually topped out about $108,000. And as we had topped out, we created this new range up here. Okay, so this is how we had drew it out for those inside of our organization. So what had happened was Bitcoin started this new range right here up at 103 in this wick down 91 whenever we had that big leverage flush to knock out all the leverage traders, take out their positions. So we get this huge scammy wick on Bitcoin, knock out all the leverage traders, and then we come back up to the mid-range. So we start ranging again and starting to get some reaccumulation here for larger players. But towards the beginning of this range, we had this bull trap, which was this fake breakout that we had to up to 108,000, which I'm sure many of you remember in December if you were on the charts. So we get this fake breakout, this bull trap, catch all these leverage traders with their pants down, and then they immediately nuke it all the way back down to the bottom of the range. And this is where people got afraid again. So when we got from 108,000, everybody's super bullish. We think we're going to 120K, 140K. And when we instantly nuke all the way down to 92,000, right? So that scared a lot of people, knocked out a lot of people out of their positions. They got afraid. They started taking profits, started doing tax harvesting before the end of the year. And so we started re-ranging again, and we came all the way back down to the bottom of the range again. So when we had created this chart, we already knew that this was the bottom of the range. And so what we had done on Bitcoin, well, it wasn't Bitcoin specifically, but when Bitcoin was at the bottom of this range, this is whenever we started reaccumulating more of our bags. So right in this area, this is where we were loading up again on the Boys Club memes, basically our ETH beta, some Solana memes that I had picked up and we had posted within the group. This is where we started accumulating again because this is the bottom of the range. So we expected there to be a move back up on Bitcoin. Now, we did also entertain this scenario quickly, which would have been a deviation of the range to the downside as well. Now, why would we have done that? Well, because if we had a bull trap to the upside, we potentially could have had a bear trap to the downside. So this is something that plays out a lot in local ranges, where if you get a deviation at the top, you get this bull trap, come back down to the bottom of the range, then we're going to get a deviation to match the top of the range, which would be the opposite, be a bear trap. So it looks like it's going to break down and come all the way down here and nuke. Leverage traders start to open up short positions. The price action comes in here, right? So it does something like this. And then it eventually comes back up in here. Yeah, that fucking brush is dog. So that's what we had also outlined was a potential possibility. So, and if it did come down here and it had this deviation, we still would have been reaccumulating up or down here because we're bullish on Bitcoin still moving up further on a long enough time frame. We actually didn't get that move, which we'll take it. And that's why we were accumulating at the bottom of the range, just in case you don't get that move. So we had already loaded up our bags again. We come back up, we reclaim the mid-range. And then literally right here on this candle, so right after this red candle, we had redrawn these two paths that could play out on Bitcoin. So path one was we come up from the mid-range and we hit the top of the range, reject, come up here, and then we, boom, start pumping. Or from the mid-range, if we lose the mid-range, turn it into resistance, come back down to the bottom, boom, 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 up again, either way. Fortunately for us, after I drew these lines, it decided to follow my preferred line, path one, and that's the move we literally got today on Bitcoin up. So we should test the top of this range or get close to the top of this range right about 103.5, 103,000. We'll probably reject and then break out, turn it into support, the top of the range, and then boom, we start pumping hard. So that's where we're at on Bitcoin. So we're looking good. Basically, we're looking really good. As soon as we get out of this range again and we do a little breakout similar to this, it won't be a bull trap and we should just start sending. Okay? What do you think, Bees?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been saying, and I've been preaching it this entire time that, how important it is to zoom out on the chart a little bit. Because it's like if you look at the last month of price action on Bitcoin, it's a little bit scary. Like it doesn't really look great. But then if you zoom out and you include at least 3 or 4 months of data, all of a sudden you see that Bitcoin's definitely still in an uptrend. So it's just super easy to get scared. If you're using like CoinGecko or something, and that's where you're getting most of your data from, and you're looking constantly at the daily chart or you're looking at the weekly chart, and that's all the data you have, you're going to be pretty scared. And you're going to think whenever Bitcoin pulled back to 90,000 that it was over. But then, you zoom out a little bit, you look at 3, 4, 6 months of, of price action, figure out pretty quickly that, yeah, Bitcoin's definitely still in an uptrend. And so just contextually looking at what time of the year it is, where we're at in the cycle, knowing that Bitcoin is still inevitably going up. Yeah, I mean, you're going to take advantage of those pullbacks to 90,000, 95,000, and use them to your advantage to make sure that whenever shit does start going up again, inevitably, you're making even more money than you would have before. So it's just all perspective, and it's zooming out and looking at enough data and realizing where we're at. Because, yeah, that bear trap probably would have scared a lot of people. And if you're looking at a daily or weekly time frame and that's all you have, yeah, you're going to think it's over. But for us, when we're looking at 3 to 6 or 12 months of data and looking at where we're at in the cycle, we're going to take advantage of that bear trap and be buying, not selling. So
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is exactly what Logan said, because you get these pullbacks and you become afraid and disinterested and disengaged from the market, not understanding that if you're following gentlemen like ourselves or you're part of our organization, you understand what the price action looks like within a range, or from a technical analysis perspective. There is no fear because you understand we didn't even break out of the range, right? The only time, me personally, I would even start getting a little bit nervous is if we did do a bear trap and that bear trap just kept coming down, down, and down. Next thing you know, it's not a bear trap anymore. Okay, now I'm scared. But it doesn't matter how low Bitcoin comes. If it's still within the range that we had created, there's nothing bearish about that. It simply just means, oh, we're at the bottom of the range. Guess what? Open up a long position if you're trading leverage. Oh, guess what? Go ahead and reaccumulate your positions, whether they're meme coins, Bitcoin itself, beta to Bitcoin, etc. Reaccumulate right down here. That's just simple market structure. You just take a look at it and say, oh, it's at the bottom of the range. Great. Let me buy more. So now you're buying down here like we had. All you've had is upside since then. All you've had is upside. And the only way for you even to come break even again is this comes all the way back down, which it won't, to 91, 92,000. So this is why you use ranges like this to say, oh, this is a great entry point. Now I can just benefit from the upside over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. So very good on Bitcoin. We're looking nice. Now let's take a look at.
And I think too, it's important to remember for Bitcoin. It's like, I think the volatility is a lot of the time what scares people more than the actual price. It's like if Bitcoin would have bled from 108,000 to 90,000 over the course of a month, people probably wouldn't have been as scared. But it's whenever it dumps and it goes from 108 to 90 in the matter of, what was that, 3 days. That volatility, I think, is what really shakes a lot of people out and scares them, because when it happens that rapidly, they think, holy shit, like this can continue, and we could go forward in another week and all of a sudden we're down 30%, 40% from the highs on Bitcoin, which means on the altcoins that are levered, we're probably down 60, 70%. But it's important to remember it's not just about the volatility or how quickly the move's happening. It's more important to pay attention to, yeah, like you said, pay attention to the range and where the price is at relative to what the chart looks like and where it's been recently. So yeah, it's like, obviously it was a big drop down, I guess, compared to the price action we have been seeing, where it's just been up only, back half of November, first half of December, it was pretty much just up only for a month straight. So when you get used to that kind of price action, then all of a sudden you have a pullback like that, in, such a short period of time, it is kind of scary. But then you zoom out and you realize it's still in the range that's been playing. all of a sudden you realize, all right, as long as we hold these critical levels, there's nothing to really worry about. So,
Exactly. And so you can't, and this is the beauty of every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You can't be upset and pissed off about a 14% move to the downside whenever you want to be able to benefit from something like this. A 50% move to the upside in the course of 20 days, 22 days, or not even 18 days.
yeah.
So you want to be able to go up 50% in 18 days, but you're afraid of a 15% in a few days. So again, you got to understand that the reason that crypto is sexy, the reason that you're in crypto is because of the volatility. So volatility doesn't just mean to the upside. Volatility is plus and negative. Highly volatile is highly volatile no matter what direction it's going in. But that high volatility is what gives you that generational opportunity to make massive amounts of money off of the little sum of money you may have right now. So the winners just understand that once we experience massive volatility to the downside, that's where I'm reaccumulating. That's where I'm buying, so that when we do see that expansion to the upside, I'm benefiting from that as opposed to the opposite. So yeah, all
Yeah, and I
good.
mean, I've talked a lot about it too, about taking asymmetric risks. Um, it's like if you're buying something whenever Bitcoin's at the bottom of its range, it's like, yeah, I mean, potentially there's a bear trap, or maybe we just, start to continue to bleed to the downside, and maybe it's over. But it's like if you're buying at the bottom of the range, and maybe you haven't gotten really heavily involved in crypto yet, like you're just now looking for an entry, and you buy whenever Bitcoin's at the bottom of the range, it's like your upside potential, especially if you're getting into meme coins like we've been talking about, your upside is hundreds and hundreds of percent gain. But if you're buying at the bottom of the range, it's like worst case scenario, yeah, it continues to bleed a little bit. Maybe you lose, 20% of your initial investment, 30% of your initial investment. Worst case scenario, if you're actually buying the bottom of the range, because it's not just going to all of a sudden just dump 50% from the bottom of the range. Like it's already down a fairly significant amount to even get to that point. So your downside is maybe 20 to 30%. Your upside is 1,000%, 1,500%. So, I mean, I like anyone's odds depending on, if you're investing 10 grand, worst case scenario, you lose 2 to 3,000. Best case scenario, you make $100,000, $150,000. It's like, which of those two scenarios is going to really affect your life more in the long term? Is
Exactly.
that missing 20 or 30% really going to dramatically throw off the course of the rest of your life? Probably not. Is that upside of 1,000 or 1,500% going to dramatically improve the quality of your life moving forward? Probably. So, yeah, it's just important to know if you're taking that quote unquote risk of buying at the bottom of the range when no one wants the asset, your downside is so much smaller because you're already down from the highs, and your upside is so much better because I mean, even if like for the boys club, for instance, it's like if you're buying bread at the bottom of the range, even if it just gets back to previous all-time highs, your upside is so much more than your potential downside. So, yeah, buying at the bottom of the range is a power move. Always will be.
Absolutely. Get rich or die trying, gentlemen. I mean, don't be afraid to go fucking. I mean, you gotta try. You gotta try. There's not many ways to get rich and escape your current situation in today's modern world. So you may as well get rich or die trying, right? Like, what's the point? You lost a couple grand. Okay, it's not like you were retiring off that couple grand anyways. So, okay, Ethereum. So let's take a look at ETH. So ETH had done a similar thing, made a new reaccumulation range. So we were up at around 4,000, 4,100 whenever we had topped out. This was the previous cycle over here. We come into this huge. Oh, no, this is not the previous cycle, is it? No, it's not. Yeah, this is still the current cycle. Let me just get on a bigger time frame. So this was previous cycle all-time high on Ethereum, 4,800. Huge, massive bear market reaccumulation range over here. Okay, finally we start moving into a bull market. We come up to about 4,100, which seems to be our super significant level. So do I have that over here? No, let me pull this. So this level right here is very significant for Ethereum. About $4,100 is where we continue to reject at. So We rejected, came back down. We tried, we got close, rejected, came back down. Massive reaccumulation throughout August whenever we got this massive nuke. I believe Japan liquidated themselves. Their markets blew up, and then, you know, everything nuked. So then we had reaccumulated down here on Ethereum. Then we break out, and we made it all the way back up to 4,100 again. And once again, rejected twice. So that's very bullish in the sense that once we do get back to this 4,100 again, I mean, we tried once. Let's not even say, well, we want to count this one. So we tried once, twice, 3 times. So we've tried 3 times to break out of this $4,100 level on Ethereum and finally break out towards its previous all-time highs. Ethereum hits here again on this 4th tap. It's busting through. Eventually this shit's going to bust through. And because it had so much resistance at that level, once it eventually does bust through, you're going to see Ethereum start to rip face. So if we go down on the lower time frame, so we came into this new accumulation range on Ethereum, okay? So we nuked down and we create this supply block right here overhead. We came back into this range, okay? So we're doing our same thing. We're testing the top of the range. We're coming back. We're respecting this mid-range. Boom, 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 boom. Finally, we make it back up, and you see this big green candle. Let's turn on the volume. Yep, so we got bigger volume, bigger buy volume, so that means buyers are in control, okay? We get this big meat stick out and break out of the range. Beautiful. So now it looks like we're very clearly out of this range, right? So that's good. But now you see us essentially chopping and basically consolidating right under this supply level, okay? Now this supply level, once we're able to flip this, you're going to see Ethereum start to pump again. So you're going to see something like this. So it's going to finally break out, retest it, and we're going towards all-time highs. So you see right here this tapping. You're tapping it, coming, and we're rejecting. Like you see there's a resistance level right here from this local supply. And we finally got this nice green candle up into the supply, which gave us this candle right here that actually gave us a wick above outside the supply, but we rejected again. So once ETH is able to break through this supply, you're going to see a lot of, you're going to see an expansion on Ethereum. You're going to see that pump up right up to $4,100 again very quickly. And as long as we can hold above that supply, we'll be fine.
Yeah. And I mean, I think cyclically, if it would have happened earlier than this, like if we would have had Ethereum break above previous range highs, like a back above 4,100 earlier this year, I would have been a little bit concerned because then we're not really following previous market structure from the previous bull runs and the previous Bitcoin halving years. So I would have been just kind of waiting for the inevitable huge pullback on it. But I think now, you know, cyclically, we're at the right time for Ethereum to really start performing well. We're really at the time where ETH BTC chart should finally start to put in a bottom and finally start to put in some meat sticks, because it's crazy. I mean, literally the last 3 years, 3.5 years, if you would have shorted, you know, Ethereum against Bitcoin, you pretty much could have just printed for 3.5 years without really any break in structure, which is insane. Like Bitcoin has literally been outperforming Ethereum for almost 4 years straight. Mm-hmm. So I think that now, you know, historically, this is the right time for Ethereum to start performing really well, start to outperform Bitcoin. And yeah, I think if it would have happened any earlier than Q1 2025, it would have seemed like a fugazi, and I would have just been waiting for the inevitable big dump. So I'm honestly happy that it's made it to this point. And I think, yeah, now's definitely the time.
Right. And because the seasonality is on our sides, it's bullish in the sense that, well, we know Ethereum does massive gains throughout Q1 and Q2, but we couldn't wait any longer. Like if the shit was going to happen, it had to have happened now, which it looks like it is starting to happen, which is good. So we needed it. We needed movement on Bitcoin and Ethereum for us to still, you know, not be able to fade the seasonality of Ethereum and Bitcoin in Q1. So we're getting what we needed. We are getting exactly what we needed. So we got to be happy about that. So ETH, we got to look for this level to get flipped. Once we flip this level, we're looking beautiful. And then we're going to look for the inevitable breakout. If we get a little smaller time frame, let's do 12 hour. So we can get this eventual breakout up to the previous resistance level. So I'm sure there's going to be some type of pause right at about $4,100. Try to chew through that. And then once we chew through that, there's nothing stopping us until $4,800. That's the beauty of it. Once we break that $4,100 level, there is nothing, literally zero, nothing stopping us. There's no price action up here. Zero. So the only price action that occurred previously was from the previous cycle. And that was these highs right over here. So you're going to see Ethereum start to pump crazy whenever we actually flip that $4,100 level and move up with some conviction. So, and then of course, when Ethereum pumps, that's whenever our bags go to Valhalla, because we're not holding ETH. We're holding ETH beta. So one other thing I'm going to show them before I'll let you share your screen, Byron, and give them a little bit of that alpha that you got.
Yeah.
Is going to be Pengu. So this is a chart that we had also shared within the Taylor's code and within our private chat to give basically a solid entry on another Sol meme that's been performing well and is going to continue to perform very well in our opinion. And this was Pengu. Okay. So I'm only going to show you some local targets. I'm not going to give you guys the big targets where this arrow that goes off of my screen goes to. I'm not showing you that. But you got to be inside the organization to see that one, player. So we had actually made this chart right about in here around December 24th is whenever we had created these fibs in this range. So Pengu is a Sol meme, and it's based on NFTs for these penguin NFTs, and they're very popular. They're a big NFT collection. So this asset is already within the billions of market cap, but it has a lot of upside potential because it's new. It just came out, and this huge range had played out on it over the last couple of weeks. So we're watching how this moves, and we create a bottom of our range. It's respecting the mid range, finally pumps up. We get this little bull trap when it did a fake breakout outside of this range, came all the way back down into the mid range. And so whenever we saw this happen right here, come back into the mid-range, this is where we started accumulating within the organization. So we started accumulating right here, get a nice entry, and then look what we've seen ever since then. Only upside. This is why your entries are so important. So we've only seen upside. We come back, we retest the top of the range, we reject again, come back up, finally we break through, and then we've clearly turned this top of this range into support. Now that this range is support, first target was going to be between 5 to 5.5 cents. Okay. So you're seeing it as soon as we get a little bit more cooperation from majors and Solana to pump, you're going to see this come up into this 5-cent range. I expect to see a small bit of reaccumulation, consolidation around this price area, and then we're going to get that big pump up to that fib confluence that I have up off the screen that I'm not going to show you because obviously that's reserved for the private members. So, but again, beautiful respecting of the TA, the range, being traded very cleanly, which is exciting for somebody who's trying to get good entries and trying to make nice profit on an asset, because you can, for the most part, trust how this is going to trade, especially because it's a large enough asset at this point where it's not going to, one person's going to be able to come in and just nuke the chart because they sold a bunch, or they're going to be able to pump the chart because they put in a $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 order. No, this is a multi-billion-dollar market cap asset at this point. So the TA, as long as they got good market makers and people are trading this intelligently, it's going to respect these levels, which makes you confident in how you're going to be able to profit on this. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but it's played out fantastically.
No, not too much. I haven't followed it too much. Personally, I didn't get into this one, but I know you've been talking about it quite a bit, and I mean the chart's beautiful. So I don't know how you can be bearish on this chart.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's been respecting all the levels, and it has good volume too. So, okay. All right. So that's that. So we know what we're looking for on Bitcoin. We know what we're looking for on Ethereum. Let's get this on the 2-hour. So I know Logan, he has some fire charts he made for Pepe and Doge. So if you want to give basically an introduction on what you were looking at and what the context of it is, because I know Mr. Ollie, he wants nice transitions for his video edits. So he's like, do it so you can, have a good transition. Like,
sure. Well, I was going to say, I just saw there was a notification that came through. The Federal Reserve just announced Michael Barr, who is the vice chairman for supervision of the Federal Reserve. He just resigned. and they said that he was a huge proponent in the restriction of banks being able to adopt and have custody of crypto. So he just announced his resignation. The Fed just put it out, so he's
So we're
gone.
pumping. We're pumping. I bet you we're gonna fucking fly now. Because Trumpino, you know what Trumpino's gonna do? He's gonna say, "Listen, we need a Federal Reserve currency, but it's not gold, motherfucker. It's gonna be Bitcoin."
Yeah.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
So yeah, that's big. So yeah, as far as the charts, I had sent this into the Taylor's code over the weekend. One set of them, the other set I haven't set in yet, but I'm going to. So what these charts are basically doing is it's comparing the price action and the structure of the chart for Pepe that we're seeing right now versus Dogecoin back in the beginning of 2021. Dogecoin, it was around the end of Q1, beginning of Q2, 2021. So it was obviously the year following the Bitcoin halving, following the election. So, you know, as far as the cycle goes, we're in about the same spot a little bit earlier. But I wanted to show you guys kind of what price action we saw on Dogecoin before the huge move to the upside, where it set, kind of the glass ceiling for meme coin potential back in 2021, and then how Pepe is playing out pretty similarly and kind of setting the stage for a very similar move. So the first chart I'm going to go over is just going to show the market cap. It's going to be the market cap charts. So let me pull this up. I'm going to look at Doge first.
Oh, Dogecoin.
And can you see this?
Yep, I can see it. Yep.
Okay, cool. So these are just clips from the charts. So I'm not going to be drawing anything too much, just kind of reviewing what I sent in the Taylor's code. So as you guys can see, back in 2021, in February was whenever Dogecoin had gotten listed to Coinbase. So that was where, obviously, similar to what we saw with Pepe, Pepe pulled about an 80% move to the upside and immediately following the tier one listings. So Dogecoin got the Coinbase listing, pumped up to about it had surged up to about 14 billion, pulled back a little bit, very similar to what Pepe did immediately following the listing, ranged a little bit for about 3 months. And then you guys can see it was around the middle of April. Doge was right around an 8 to 9 billion, just under $10 billion market cap, which is identical to where Pepe is right now. And then over the course of a week, flew from 10 billion all the way up to $60 billion market cap. So for anyone that can't do basic math, that's a 6x. If you would have gotten in, the beginning of April, held it for 2 weeks, you would have pulled a 600% return on your investment. Immediately following, there's a huge correction. Dogecoin pulls all the way back to, 17 billion, which, if you guys were hesitant or scared or nervous during the pullbacks you saw on the boys club over the past couple weeks, they were nothing in comparison to this. I mean, this is a 75% pullback in the matter of, this is the daily chart. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in 8 days, Dogecoin, which was a $60 billion asset, had a 75% correction. So if you guys want to talk about thinking that it's over, that's like, watching something 6 times the size of Pepe right now pull back 75% in a week.
It is outrageous.
So obviously at this point during this wick down, everyone thinks it's over. Everyone capitulates. Everyone gets out. Like, all right, I made a little bit of money. It's over. That was cool. We're done. Then obviously we've said it time and time again. May is the time where you go away. You sell and go away. Look what happens. Dogecoin, again, pumps up and sets an all-time record for meme coin market caps, pumped all the way up to 90 billion. So this was over the course of 10 days, 12 days. Dogecoin went from, 16 billion, 17 billion, all the way up to 90 billion. So it pulled from the lows here as this uptrend was starting towards the middle of April. this ended up being almost 1,000% move, or about a 10x on an asset that was the same size as Pepe is currently.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a lot of volatility, but when you want to experience a lot of volatility to the upside, you got to be able to handle it on the downside too. So that was Doge, and I'm going to pull up the Pepe chart just so you guys can have an idea. So again, the brush tool is fucking awful.
Yeah, for sure.
But as you guys can see right now, this is where Pepe is. So right now we're obviously January 2025. This was the Coinbase listing. So we saw Pepe, move from, it was around 4 billion up to about $10 billion market cap, ended up peaking out at about 12 billion, and then pulled back about 30% to where it's at right now. So obviously we've just been ranging a little bit around the price of Pepe was when it originally got listed. I think currently today it's almost exactly where it was immediately following the Coinbase listing. So I think that things are heating up a little bit quicker than they did last cycle. I don't think that we're going to end up waiting until May to start really pushing like this. Maybe we'll peak out in May, similar to what happened before. But I think that this big initial pump is probably going to come a little bit earlier. So I would not be surprised if we saw a move on Pepe up to, 40, 50 billion, probably sometime in February or March. So I think this initial big impulsive move is probably going to come a little bit earlier. But I mean, as you guys can see, this move, 970%, extremely similar to the move we saw on Dogecoin, very replicatable. If it happened 3 years ago before the Fed printed off billions, if not trillions of dollars, it's doable now, to say the least. And I think that it's probably going to get broken. I think we're probably going to set a new glass ceiling for the meme coin sector this cycle with Pepe. But yeah, it's like any price range in this area down here, like any kind of moves you guys have seen recently, none of it's going to matter because this is the move that we're looking for. So these 20 to 30% ranges and moves to the upside and the downside down here, in the grand scheme of things, none of this shit matters, because when you have a 10x on the table, we've already shown it's possible 3 years ago. Very, very likely that it's going to be able to happen again. Mm-hmm. I would just probably shift this big initial breakout move over a couple months to sometime in February or March. So that's just an idea for market cap and what kind of growth we can expect out of Pepe here in the next 3 to 6 months. I also wanted to show the actual moves that were experienced by these coins. I'm going to show Dogecoin first.
Guys, this is Alpha. Make sure you like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is Juice. He's literally showing you guys the future. He's got the crystal ball out right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna start saying everything we just want to happen on stream, because everything we talk about on this stream ends up coming to fruition.
Yep. Pepe to 250 billion. I said it.
Yeah. We got to start making astronomical projections. We're gonna go straight Moonboy stream. So this is again Dogecoin back in 2021. As you guys can see, this is November of 2020. So this is where we were at, obviously, a couple months ago. This big initial leg up on Dogecoin was a 466%, so we'll call it 450% move. There was a bit of a correction, pulled back. I don't have the rest of the data on this chart, but I'd say this was probably about a 20%, 30% pullback, similar to what we just saw on Pepe. That second big leg up that I was just talking about, it ended up being about a 500% move from the previous all-time high. So all in all, first two legs there, it was about 1,000% growth from where it was at back in November of 2021, which was prior to the Coinbase listing. And then finally,
November 2022 or 2020, I mean.
November 2020, correct. Yeah. Right. Thank you. And then similar to what we're seeing right now, it ranges for about 2 months, 3 months. Not a whole lot of price action, just a lot of ranging underneath the previous all-time high, which is what we've been seeing on Ethereum for months now. It's what we're currently seeing on Pepe. And then finally in May, which is prime time for selling and for the final really big impulsive moves until potentially the end of the year, depending on what we're seeing in structure, we get another 750% move out of Dogecoin, sets records for meme coin growth up to about a $90 billion market cap, which at that point was about 66 cents. So if we look at Pepe, I must have closed it. Let me open this back up.
This is fire. It's getting me fired up.
Me too.
And the Fed chair resigned. The boys are fucking buzzing. The gentlemen are bullish.
All right, so here's a similar chart on Pepe. So obviously the time frame on this is a little bit different. We had that huge kind of historical range all through the year of 2024. It was pretty much the biggest range that we've ever seen. So Pepe, back in March, whenever everything was starting to go ballistic, people kind of thought maybe it was going to be an early crypto cycle, ended up kind of being a fake out. So Pepe had made a move of about 840% and then just ranged. It ended up perking up here around May, June area. And then everything just kind of bled for about 7 months. Finally, right here, we have this huge impulsive move, come back, range a little bit, and then ended up topping out. This was obviously the Coinbase listing that we had on Pepe that sparked this huge impulsive move. Ended up peaking out at 0.000017. I don't know what that number is. That's not accurate, but it was 160% move from this little previous initial breakout. So all in all, it's a lot of data to basically replicate the exact same moves that we had seen on the first two legs up with Doge. So between these two first moves together, we had 1,000% gain.
Wow.
Almost identical, obviously, to what we had seen on Doge.
Fucking alpha.
So for anyone that's seen, and obviously now you guys have, what happened in the past and with crypto, we know that history loves to repeat itself. We're probably going to see a little bit of a range here for, depending on when that big move happens on Pepe. We're probably going to see this previous all-time high get retested, which this price isn't accurate. I believe it's around 0.0002728.
Yeah, something like that.
Probably going to tap that. Yeah, I think it's around 2728. Probably going to tap that previous all-time high, interact with it a little bit, and then inevitably we're going to send. Since this is the third leg up, the third big leg up, I don't know if we're going to see that first leg up like we saw on Dogecoin, where it pumped up to 60 billion, have that big pullback for about a week and a half, and then really send up towards the end of May. Or if we just have a blow off top and Pepe just continues to kind of run without hesitation up all the way to 90 or 100 billion plus. That's going to be to be determined, but obviously we'll be calling it out inside the Taylor's code. We're going to continue to follow this and compare it to the structure of Dogecoin in 2021. And if you're inside the community, we're going to be telling you when to sell and showing you how to maximize your profits on this play. But yeah, it's pretty much everything I wanted to cover for that.
Yeah, super fire. That's super fire. Because like you said, it literally is the Dogecoin of this cycle. It's not, we're not saying that to be funny or to be facetious. It's literally the Dogecoin of this cycle. This cycle, it is doing exactly what Dogecoin had done last cycle. So if you can, even if you expect it just to match what Doge had done last cycle, let's just call it 100 billion Pepe is able to go to. That's a 10x from right now. If you can still get a 10x right now on Pepe, this is why holding Brett on base, Andy, which is 0x68, and Wolf 0x67 on ETH, all those assets are going to pull more multiples than Pepe. So if Pepe does 10x, Brett's doing 15, Andy's doing 25, Wolf is doing 25 to 30. Those aren't Moon Boy projections. Moon Boy projections is Pepe to 250, Brett to 100 billion, Andy to 50 billion. Those are Moon Boy. That's not Moon Boy. Pepe to 100 billion. That's what Doge did 4 years ago in a less favorable administrative period, in the sense of the regulation, the administration that was in place that was anti-crypto, anti-growth in that space. Fucking the SEC's got a case against XRP. People are getting put in jail. FTX in 2020. Those guys going to jail. Boom, boom, boom. Like, in an unfavorable period of administration, was able to do all that stuff. Now you got Trumpino coming in, who has a company that is literally buying Ethereum assets and Ethereum DeFi tokens, Aave, ETH, Litecoin. Litecoin has nothing to do with Ethereum, but Litecoin. So Trumpino's got a company that's buying crypto. Trumpino's son, Barron, is all in crypto. Trumpino's talking about pumping Bitcoin, no pullbacks. He's at the New York Stock Exchange in New York saying no more pullbacks. There's no dips. Ringing the bell. Like, this dude's coming in here to pump the markets, because he understands that if he pumps the markets, everybody becomes wealthier, everybody becomes happier, etc., whatever. So you can't tell me in a period of time where we're going to have the most bullish administration possible for crypto that we can't at least match what Doge had done. So this is why we're saying you can't be afraid of these local pullbacks and these local corrections. You have to look at it as, I need to move quickly. I need to put as much liquidity into the markets as I'm willing to lose as quickly as humanly possible, so I can benefit from this 25x I'm going to get on Andy or Wolf. I'm going to get benefit off this 20x I'm going to get off of Brett. $1,000 into 20 grand is no joke. So every single extra grand you can put into one of these assets is an extra $20,000 potentially that you're making. So this is when I say you have to operate with a sense of urgency. I mean, no, literally, you have to operate with a sense of urgency. This shit is going to start happening within the next couple of weeks. This is not shit you have time to think about and, oh, well, I'm going to wait till da-da-da-da-da, or I want to make sure I can do this, or da-da-da, or, I'm not sure if I want to do it yet. Let me see if the price goes a little bit higher first. No, you see how quickly it moves. Doge was at 10 to a $60 billion market cap within a couple of days. Okay. This shit happens fast. You have to be positioned ahead of time. You have to use these pullbacks, these dips as an opportunity to actually position yourself. Because what happens is you become a part of the exit liquidity whenever you see everything pumping to Valhalla. You FOMO in at the top. You get a pullback. Now you're down money. Now you're pissed off again. Then you sell at a loss. And the next thing you know, it's pumping again like Doge did. And then it fucking runs up to 90 billion. Then what happens? You become exit liquidity again because you FOMO again at 80 billion, 90 billion. And the next thing you know, it's back down to 10 and you lost all your money again. You buy the despair, you sell the mania, you sell the hype, the froth. So, yeah, I don't. The gains that are going to be pooled on the boys club this cycle are going to be outrageous.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important too to remember all the stuff that's still in the back pocket for these plays. So, I mean, obviously, Trump isn't even fully inaugurated yet. So, I think I've talked about this on previous streams, but obviously, a lot of people have a lot of distrust with the government and they don't ever know what's going to come next. They don't know what's going to happen. I think there's probably still some hesitancy and some kind of feeling like there's going to be a black swan event. I mean, like, you look at what already has happened in 2024. It's like there's apparently drones that are the size of SUVs flying over people's houses in New Jersey. There was the guy that apparently was a part of ISIS and drove a truck down the streets of New Orleans and killed 14 people. There was the guy that apparently served in Afghanistan and was a part of the U.S. military, active duty, and blew up himself in a Tesla in front of Trump Tower, or up in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas. It's like all of these crazy things are already happening. We're literally 1 week into 2025 and this stuff is already happening. So I think there is a lot of uncertainty and just a feeling that, I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in Taiwan. There's a lot still going on in Ukraine with Russia, a lot of tension in Taiwan, obviously with China. And there's a lot of kind of pressure with, maybe there's going to be a war that we end up getting involved in that we shouldn't be a part of. And yeah, just people kind of thinking that there's going to be some kind of black swan event before the actual inauguration takes place. So I think that people are underestimating how much upside potential there's going to be once Trump is finally inaugurated and things are actually in rhythm. And they're like, okay, he's in office. This is out of the way. We're good to go. We have conviction. Let's move forward. So that's one thing. And I think the other thing too is obviously we talked about it before. There's a lot of coins getting tier one listings with a $500 million market cap. Andy previously at its all-time high was at like 380 million market cap. So three of the four boys club members that we're currently invested in, I mean, Brett is the only top 10 by market cap meme coin that doesn't have any tier one listings. So it's like Coinbase is still holding that listing in the back pocket to list its literal mascot for the base chain. Andy has already teased that it's capable of getting to a market cap that is more than valuable enough to get tier one listings. And Landwolf, I think, was close to 300 million. It was at like 250, which I mean, Coinbase listed Degen, which is on the base network at like 100 million market cap.
Exactly.
So with the amount of price action, or not price action, the amount of price history that these coins have, the amount of holders that they have, the narrative behind the whole, boys club narrative, and especially if Pepe starts to perform the way that we're expecting it to, and these exchanges are getting the amount of fees and stuff that they're expecting to off the volume that Pepe is going to have, because Pepe's volume is already nuts and it's going to get even crazier. The listings for tier one exchanges for the rest of the members is inevitable. So when you have the inauguration pump coming, you have the pumps coming from the tier one listings, and you have the seasonality of where we're at in the cycle right now, you can't overestimate the growth that's going to come from these coins. It's very hard to do because it's going to be something we've never seen before.
I'm excited, Harrison. Everything's been playing out how we knew was gonna play out for the last year. So it's gonna be nice to see everything come to fruition finally. We've been waiting a long time. We've been working very hard, but because we've had the consistency and we've never given up on the opportunity that we saw, and that's why we're gonna benefit from it. And everybody inside the Taylor's Code too. You're gonna see all of a sudden new cars, new watches, new houses. Yeah. If you're not inside the Taylor's Code or the private chat, just watch whenever we start posting those sorts of things, then you know we sold. Because we're not telling you on stream. We're not telling you on YouTube. What are you say?
Said there will be signs.
Yeah, of course. There will be signs. But if you're not a part of the organization, I assume you're probably going to be a part of the exit liquidity. So the choice is yours. Would you like to be our Ferraris and APs? Or would you like to be on the inside and the one purchasing the Ferraris and APs? So choice is yours. But the question is, do you think $25 is worth it? In my opinion, I'd say yes. But if you're not prepared to invest $25 into your network, your education, your ability to make money, then you're not very interested in becoming wealthy. It would be my opinion. So, which is correct. It's not an opinion. It's actually true. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I had. Bauer, you got any last closing thoughts before we jump off of here?
No, I don't think so. It's time is now. I mean, we do these streams twice a week now, and yeah, I mean, like you said, it's $25. I mean, if anyone watching this goes out to eat, if you do anything, I mean, I went to Chick-fil-A a couple weeks ago. That was the first time I've eaten out in a little while. Just been putting all the money into crypto, but I got Chick-fil-A. It was $18, so it's like $25 is the cost of eating a meal out, not even a good meal. I mean, I know Priyama and we went out and got food for New Year's Eve. Normal dinner, normal restaurant, almost $200.
Yep.
It's like if you're spending that $25, I mean, that dinner alone for the two of us would have paid for a membership for almost an entire year. Definitely enough of a membership to get you through the rest of the bull run. So, yeah, take advantage because we do these streams twice a week, but like you just saw with the Dogecoin play, if you continue to wait and you're just waiting for these streams every 4 or 5 days, by the time we get on the stream again, these coins could be up to 300%. Maybe not by maybe not by Thursday, maybe not by next Monday, but once things really get moving, Trump's inaugurated, maybe a tier one listing happens in between the streams that we do, you can miss out on hundreds of percents of a move just because you're not getting the up-to-date information that we're providing in the plays. So, yeah.
You're too damn slow. You're too damn slow. And that's gonna be the common theme throughout your entire life is you're too slow. Don't be slow. So
I like speed.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Business is speed. So if you guys are not already in the organization, join. It's going to be school.com. It should be in the damn description, but it's not in the description, so I'm going to have to add it in there. But if you
Someone's
go,
slipping.
yeah, fucking unbelievable. Go to the YouTube channel. So go to the properly paid YouTube channel. It is in the channel description and on the actual YouTube channel. You're going to see the link for the school community. So join the Taylor's Code, join the private crypto plays, which is within the classroom of the Taylor's Code. So once you join the Taylor's Code, you get into the school community. You're going to go to the classroom, and then in the classroom, it's going to be the first course. It's going to be the private crypto plays. You join that, you get into our private group chat where you get access to myself, Logan, all the other people that we invest and do business with. We're literally going to give you live action when we're buying, when we're selling, providing charts in there that we don't provide on stream and to the normal community, because that's where all the alpha's at. That's where we're going to get our edge on the market, and that's how we're going to be able to exit with so much damn money compared to those who lose it. So join the private group, join the organization. If you want to learn technical analysis, you want to learn how to do what we do on the charts, we will also provide that within the school community. So we'll see you inside. We'll see you guys we'll see you on Thursday for the Ultimate Market Professionals, but we'll be back on Wednesday for the Gentleman's Code. And let's make some fucking money.
The testimonies are coming. The bull run's coming. The testimonies are coming. Just make up your mind if you want to watch the testimonies and cope, or if you want to be one yourself. So
exactly. Yes, the cope is going to be outrageous once we start doing the testimonies. They're going to say, how old is he? How much did he make? Yeah. Sorry, Harrison. He made your salary in a fucking 2-week span. Whoops. Whoops. All right. Let's do a little Mr. Producer.
Good night.
Good night. That gets me every time. I don't even fucking see it coming. Good night. What isn't that in a Kanye song? Oh no, he goes, honey. And that what's that called? What's that song?
Father stretch my hands.
No. It's the one he does with Kimmy K. He on the motorcycle when she's on him on the motorcycle.
It's bound.
Bound. That's what it is. Bound to.
Bound to falling in love.
Oh gosh.
Honey.
All right, let's get out of here.